In 1987, the first Hellraiser film premiered gory and violent. Pinhead once became the most iconic horror character of that era. The core of the entire series is a puzzle box that can open the gates of hell. The Lament Configuration. Legend has it that if you can solve it correctly and offer it human blood, the gates of hell will open, granting you one wish. The new Hellraiser story begins with the Lament Configuration. A wealthy magnate, Loren, desired it, and thus began sacrifices, according to the legend. He had his female assistant, Catherine, search for prey everywhere. A young man named Joey received Catherine's invitation and came to a villa for a high-end cocktail party. Joey thought he was set for life, unaware that danger was approaching. At the end of the corridor was Lorenz's room. Just after entering, Joey was drawn to the puzzle box. As he picked it up for a closer look, Loren slowly descended from upstairs. He tricked Joey, saying that if he could open the box, he would receive a huge reward. Joey thought victory was assured, but accidentally triggered a mechanism on the box. Blades sprang out, instantly piercing his palm. He tried to escape, but it was too late. Chains pierced his body, suspending him mid-air. Then, the gates of hell opened. After consuming the sacrifice, the hellish messengers granted Lorenz one wish. What exactly was the wish? No one knows. And Lorenz later vanished without a trace. Time passed, years flew by, and in the blink of an eye, 6 years had gone. A young girl named Riley was problematic. She insisted on being with Trevor, against her brother Matt's objections. Trevor was a former addict. No wonder Matt didn't trust him with his sister. One rainy night, Trevor took Riley to an abandoned warehouse, hoping to try their luck and find something valuable. Finally, inside a shipping container, they found a safe. They smashed it open with hammers and crowbars to find a wooden box inside. Yes, it contained the puzzle box. Neither knew what it was. Trevor barely glanced at it and told Riley to take it. While playing with the box in a park, Riley curiously inserted her finger into a circular hole. But the hellish messenger, Pinhead, still descended upon the world, inviting Riley to join them. Clearly, Riley was now the new owner of the box. She must find sacrifices to complete the offering. Before she could react, blood poured from Riley's chest. Then, 4 chains extended from the black hole in her chest. Matt woke up in a cold sweat. Although it was just a nightmare, the pain felt all too real. Worried about Riley, Matt hurried out to check and found her unconscious in the park. Fortunately, she wasn't actually injured. Seeing the puzzle box in Riley's hand, Matt threw it aside without a second thought but accidentally cut his hand on a blade. Ignoring his own injury, Matt helped his sister to the side. Seeing her gradually regain consciousness, he remembered to go to the bathroom to clean his wound. The puzzle box, having drawn human blood, constantly changed shape. Riley heard the noise and looked at the box, but dazed, she thought it was a hallucination and didn't pay much attention. Little did Riley know, her brother was about to have incredibly bad luck. The lights in the bathroom flickered incessantly, making it hard for Matt to keep his eyes open. His reflection in the mirror seemed to detach from itself, staring straight back at him. A wave of pain hit, and Matt couldn't help but clutch his chest. What happened next shocked him even more. Blood that had flowed down the drain suddenly gushed back out. Then, the door to another world opened. Hearing her brother's scream and the faint sound of chains, Riley ran to the bathroom to check, but there was nothing there. Matt had vanished into thin air, as if evaporated. Riley called the police immediately, but they didn't believe her story. Later, Riley told Matt's boyfriend Colin that Matt had been injured by the box before disappearing. It must be related. Such a fantastical claim. Colin, of course, didn't believe it. Riley found Trevor to discuss what to do. The box was no longer in its initial cube state. She wanted Trevor to keep solving it, but her boyfriend refused outright. His reaction suggested he knew the box could harm people. To figure out the box's origins, Riley found out through the container rental agreement that the signatory was none other than Lorenz's assistant, Catherine. Now suffering from lung cancer, she was receiving long-term treatment in the hospital. Seeing the box reappear, Catherine was surprised. She immediately saw that the box had been tampered with and accurately guessed that someone had gone missing. Catherine told Riley the box's previous owner was the wealthy magnate Lorenz, that it was dangerous and owners could die at any time. Catherine wanted to lock this ominous object away, but Riley refused. As they struggled over the box, Catherine was accidentally cut by a blade inside. Thus, the second sacrifice was acquired. After Riley and Trevor left with the box, Catherine knew her death was imminent. Strange lights spilled into the hospital room. Pinhead appeared. Catherine tried to escape, but every corridor ended with a Cenobite waiting. Meanwhile, Riley searched online for information about Lorenz and found the address of his villa. She also discovered that in the weeks before Lorenz's disappearance, people had vanished mysteriously one after another. The plot thickened. To find the truth, it seemed a trip to the villa was necessary. Trevor wanted Riley to ditch the box, leading to an argument between them. They parted on bad terms. Nevertheless, Riley was determined to go on this adventure. On a winding forest road, Riley drove alone towards the villa. Uninhabited for 6 years, the villa was overgrown with weeds, and the entire house was covered by a wire mesh fence. After searching for a while, Riley finally found an open window and climbed inside. Such a fantastical claim. Colin, of course, didn't believe it. Surprisingly, although covered in cobwebs inside, the power system was still intact. Flipping the switch, lights came on everywhere. The automatic doors and the wire mesh enclosing the villa could all be controlled intelligently. Riley went to the study and found many sketches on the wall. Looking closely, they were drawings of Pinhead. After rummaging around, Riley found a notebook documenting the various forms of the puzzle box. Unknowingly, night fell. Riley was still studying the notebook's contents. Just then, she suddenly heard Matt's voice calling her. Following the sound, she found traces of Matt in the basement. Seeing her brother alive, she was thrilled and without thinking, gave him a big hug. But soon, Riley realized the feel was wrong. Through a mirror, she saw Matt was a mangled mess of flesh and blood, as if skinned alive. Riley was scared out of her wits. At that moment, Trevor arrived with Colin and their friend Nora. Simultaneously, Matt vanished. Everyone wanted to take Riley home, but she insisted her brother was in the villa. Seeing this, Colin stayed behind to reason with Riley, while Trevor and Nora went upstairs to look around. Arriving at the bar, before they could even have a drink, Trevor urgently needed the bathroom. Left alone, Nora touched a switch and accidentally opened a hidden door. Riley took out the notebook and told Colin the story within. It turned out the puzzle box had 6 forms. Whoever unlocked the final form would gain passage to the other world, meet God, and receive God's blessing. Life, knowledge, love, sensation, power, resurrection, any one wish could be granted. Colin thought it was fantasy, but to save her brother, Riley wanted to try according to the notebook, even if it meant sacrificing some people. However, the puzzle box was missing from her bag. Meanwhile, driven by curiosity, Nora entered the secret passage, finding a deep, dark tunnel inside. But as soon as she entered, the hidden door closed automatically behind her. Hearing cries for help, Trevor hurried to find the switch. There were too many, so he had to try them one by one. In the darkness, someone held the puzzle box, constantly twisting it. It seemed besides Nora, there was another mysterious person in the passage. He crept up on Nora and stabbed the box into her back. Nora screamed and ran towards the door, the mysterious person close behind. Fortunately, at the last moment, the hidden door opened, and Nora escaped. Colin promptly pulled the box out from her skin. Riley knew the hellish messengers would appear soon, and urged everyone to leave immediately. Despite witnessing the box's power, Riley secretly took it with her before leaving. Little did they know, through a crack in the door, the mysterious man was observing their every move. Doesn't this person look familiar? Right? It's Loren's. He never died, lurking in the sunless secret passage. What was he plotting? The group rushed Nora to the hospital. On the way, Nora fell into a hallucination. She was back in the secret passage, desperately calling out to Riley and the others, but they couldn't hear her. Pinhead gently waved his hand, and 4 chains flew out, piercing Nora's body. Pinhead pulled the pin from his head and stabbed it through Nora's windpipe, claiming it would allow the body to experience more pleasure. Amidst desperate screams, Nora was sacrificed. At the last moment, Riley saw Nora's gruesome state in the rearview mirror, but was powerless to help. In the panic, the car crashed by the roadside. When they opened the trunk to check, Nora had vanished without a trace. Without transportation, the 3 couldn't leave. Trevor suggested they return to the villa first, and then figure things out. Riley felt guilty about Nora's death. She stood on a bridge, attempting to throw the box away, but suddenly Pinhead appeared on the lake's surface. He tempted Riley, saying only the box could save Matt. Sacrifice 2 more people, and your wish will be granted. As Riley hesitated, the box cut her. Pinhead said, "Now your blood has flowed into the box. If you don't find 2 more people, the next sacrifice will be you." Pinhead was not joking. As they prepared to return to the villa, Cenobites emerged from the ground. Trevor and Riley successfully hid inside the villa, but Colin, lagging behind, tripped and fell. He thought he was done for, but the Cenobite simply passed him by. It was fixated on Riley. Seeing her boyfriend bitten hard by the Cenobite's fangs, Riley looked at Pinhead staring at her, and made a bold decision. She stabbed a blade into the Cenobite's body. Hard to believe, but Cenobites could also be sacrificed. After temporarily averting the crisis, the 3 made it inside the villa. However, Pinhead did not leave. He stood at the villa's entrance with the other Cenobites, quietly waiting for the final sacrifices. The injured Trevor was resting on the sofa when suddenly a hand reached out and covered his mouth. It was Loren's, but his appearance seemed expected by Trevor. Clearly Lorenz wasn't truly missing. Weary of worldly luxuries, after completing his sacrifice back then, he wished for sensory pleasure. Unfortunately, the hellish messenger's understanding of pleasure differed drastically from humans. To them, pain is pleasure. Thus, they inserted a metal device into Lorenz's chest, tormenting his nerves constantly to create unparalleled ecstasy. Lorenz couldn't handle it, but he couldn't resist either. So he bribed Trevor to take Riley to the warehouse to steal the box, hoping to gather a new round of sacrifices to make a new wish to the hellish messengers and remove the device. The first sacrifice should have been Riley, but Matt became the substitute. Remembering that the sacrificed life form could be chosen randomly, Riley hatched a plan to lure another Cenobite into the villa. The plan went smoothly at first, but before Riley could act, the Cenobite suddenly went berserk, wildly chasing her and Colin. During the chase, Riley dropped the box. Trevor, manning the automatic door controls, intentionally slowed his reaction, locking Colin outside. The pursuing Cenobite also got stuck in the automatic door. Colin searched for the box as instructed by Riley but found nothing. Just then, Loren suddenly attacked. He had picked up the box. Colin was unfortunately stabbed by its sharp blades, thus completing the new round of sacrifices. Once Colin was sacrificed, Loren would again become the holder of the box's final form. After completing this, he placed the box on a pedestal in the center of the room. Now Riley finally understood Trevor's betrayal, but Colin was already doomed. Trevor followed Loren's instructions and activated a switch on the ceiling. Blood from the puzzle box flowed upwards, and with flashes of lightning and thunder, a massive inverted pyramid structure descended upon the villa. Cenobites flooded the room. Colin had nowhere to hide. Loren wanted Pinhead to grant his wish, but the others seemed unwilling to comply. While Loren was distracted, Riley slipped through a crack and took the box from the pedestal. Hearing Colin's screams, Riley went looking for him. Faced with the terrifying Cenobite, Colin retreated step by step. By the time Riley found him, Colin had been brutally tortured. Was there no way out? Just as Riley despaired, the Cenobite offered a choice. As the box's owner, Riley could decide who would be sacrificed. The girl was clear-headed. Thinking of Trevor's betrayal, Riley decided he should replace Colin. Trevor rushed over, trying to snatch the box, but it backfired. The sacrifice was completed. Now Riley finally understood Trevor's betrayal, but Colin was already doomed. Riley gained the chance to make a wish, but remembering Loren's experience, she knew even if she wished for Matt's resurrection, the outcome would likely differ from her expectations. It was all part of Pinhead's scheme. To entrap Riley, Pinhead again conjured an illusion of Matt. Fortunately, Riley wasn't fooled. She gave up the chance to wish, left the box reset to its initial form in the villa, and helped the weakened Colin leave.